Tonight, he's the anchor of CBS News Sunday Morning.
It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Charles Osgood.
Yes, that's me being interviewed by Larry King a few years back. Time now to return the favor. When I interviewed him, we had a fine old time, reminiscing about the business and talking TV.
Now, I'm frightened when I sing, which is in my milieu. I mean, I know I sort of do that well.
I've had wonderful opportunities. I got a lot of good mileage behind me. And I've also got a lot of good mileage ahead of me, too.
See, I've made some commitments to be a syndicated talk show host, which is going to make me a very wealthy woman.
In the land of talk shows, there is a king.
What a way to make a living, huh?
And people call him Larry.
Do you pinch yourself, saying, how did all this happen to me?
How old were you when you said, I'm going to run for office?
You're talking about the cream of the crop. Did you ever say to yourself, I'm an alcoholic?
Yes.
What?
Most angry.
With 21 years on the air, Larry King Live boasts a roster of guests straight out of the pages of Who's Who in entertainment,
Proudest thing in my life.
I am running for president of the United States.
politics,
Here's a guy who's called me everything but a blue goose and told the American people that they can't trust me.
What was it like to kill someone?
even the criminals are famous.
Larry, I don't dwell on that much.
Then he wrote his name, John Lennon, and then underneath that, 1980.
My basic attribute is I'm intensely curious about why you do what you do. That fascinates me more than what happened that day.
What is it like to do it, to send men to die?
What is it? Being president during a war is difficult.
Presidents lead countries, so I have a lot of respect for that. And I bring that to the interview, I think.
This is Larry King, and it's my great pleasure to have a special guest this weekend.
And the interview brought Larry King fame and fortune that's beyond even the imagination of a young Larry Zeiger growing up in Brooklyn in the 1930s. And that's really saying something, because that boy could imagine quite a bit.
When I was a kid, I was a radio freak like you. I was a nut. I'd listen to the radio in my room and run into the bathroom and imitate. And now, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. And I'd relive those things and tell my friends a story.
He says he also wanted to escape the painful reality of his young life, but not even radio could drown that out.
My father died when I was 9. He died of a sudden heart attack. I would later have one myself. I lost interest in school. I got mad at him for dying. I was very close to him, and I didn't go to the funeral because I was really angry. It was very hard to be 9 years old, 9.5, and lose a parent, especially because some relatives would say, well, Larry, you're the head of the household now, you know. I got a 6-year-old brother and a mother, and I'm the head of the household. I'm going to be mad at the guy who left.
With 2 young boys to look after, his mother couldn't take a job.
We went on relief for 2 years. They call it relief, now it's welfare. New York City bought my first pair of glasses. I never forgot that, never forgot being poor. Relief inspectors would come to the house and look in the refrigerator to see what kind of meat my mother was buying. They paid our rent and we got $34 a week. And we stayed that way for 2 years until I now was 11 years old. I could stay home myself. And my mother went out to work. But I would have to say I was poorer than my friends. I don't think I saw a $20 bill until I was 17 years old. We were very poor.
King graduated high school, but he didn't go to college. He says he was knocking around, doing odd jobs, when he heard there might be jobs on the radio in Miami.
A small station hired me, and I went on the air May 1st, 1957, nervous, thought I couldn't do it, got scared. They gave me a new name. They changed my name from Larry Zeiger to Larry King. I changed it legally. I was choking up. The general manager kicked open the door. He said, this is a communications business. Communicate.
Hey Larry, we're with you again.
Right here on the Larry King Show.
He's been communicating ever since. Nearly 50 years now. And more than 40,000, that's right, 40,000 interviews.
You hadn't gone to college. Don't you have to know a lot in order to talk to all these people?
You have to be curious about a lot. You have to read your newspapers. If you know too much, that's dangerous.
If you're going to do an interview, as you will be doing an interview later tonight, do you think in advance about that person, and is there something you expect from the interview?
Very little. One, I don't expect. I'd never gone on the air with an agenda. And I think about the interview about an hour before. But I don't think what specifically I'm going to ask. I'll go over, we're doing Governor McGreevey tonight, who became, announced he was gay.
Larry King, I presume.
Governor. So I don't need any information beyond. What was it? When did you know you were gay, and what was that like? What was it like to be gay and married to someone? I don't want to know his answers. That had to be the worst moment of your life, right?
No, it wasn't.
Was not.
No.
Patsy's handwriting was the only one that couldn't be eliminated. Therefore, she is a murderer. That is absurd.
In interview after interview, Larry King reigns not with an iron fist, but with a light touch.
God could have not given you this.
Right.
Why do you think you have 3 diseases?
Oh, I think he's teaching me some wonderful lessons.
While some applaud his relaxed, man-of-the-people style, others criticize him for not being tougher on guests.
Laura, what might we not know about him?
Let's
that
see.
You know. No, really.
There's the school of interviewer where it's time for Mr. District Attorney, where you don't feel as if you've done your job unless you've got the guy sweating and
Well, you have
tears.
to humiliate them.
Yeah.
Which is, it's easy, by the way, it's cheap. What did you mean by that? You know what I mean? It ain't hard. If the guest walks off, it's even better, because all you're doing is creating an image for yourself. But what happens is the audience doesn't learn anything.
You get more flies with honey than you.
To me, you do, and I know they've said sometimes they're soft. I don't know what a soft interview is. I don't consider I've ever done soft. I try to ask the best questions. I mean, now you don't want to be mamby-pamby. That you never want to be. If things are going wrong, you got to ask about what's going wrong in the world. But you don't have to. You don't have to do it soft, and you don't have to do it harsh.
What happened with the submarine?
It sunk.
Why? What caused it?
I don't think I can explain what I do. I just do it. I've been doing it 50 years is a freaking long time. Must be doing something right.
Doing it right, says King, means being fearless about mixing it up with the guests.
Kermit,
What's the hand?
Mine are sort of
Watch
pink and
it.
blue. Piggy, I wasn't making a move for you.
Fine.
Stop it!
To do live television, as King does, 5 nights a week, you have to be unflappable.
Don't make a man.
Sorry, Larry. Sorry.
I found out he is, not only when he's doing his show, but also when he's doing mine.
I started as a morning man, and then I've always been on at night.
This is very embarrassing.
That's a cell phone, and you didn't put it on. What are you supposed to put it on? Vibrate?
You're supposed to put it on, turn it off, is what you're supposed to put it on.
But it might be important. See, now
Beyond turning off your cell phone, King says, another good interview tip is this. Listen to the answers.
I've been interviewed by somebody who had prepared a list of questions. And when you stop talking and answer the first question, they go to question number 2.
I had that happen to me in Dallas once. Her third question was, what makes a good talk show host? And I could see she looks away, and I said, well, I don't know about others, but in my case, being employed by the CIA is a great deal of help because they feed me things to say every night that I feed out to people. And then she goes, and what about marriage?
And what about marriage? Well, marriage has been a troublesome area for King. He's been married 7 times. For the past 9 years, he's been married to Shawn Southwick. Even King concedes it's hard to imagine a less likely match. He's Brooklyn-born, nearly 73, and Jewish. She's California-born, about 48, and Mormon. But he says perhaps because of their differences, the relationship works, and he's never been happier. In addition to 4 children from their previous marriages, the Kings have 2 young boys, Chance, who is 7 years old, and Cannon, who is 6.
I like both names. They're different. They're athletic. Chance King, Cannon King, and they're 2 different people. Chance is cerebral, Cannon is show business.
Their life is very different from what yours was when you were 6 or 7 years old.
Oh, yeah. People say, don't spoil them. Okay, I don't know what to do not to spoil them. I really, Charlie, I need advice. I don't know what to do. I don't. Because they have this blessing of a life. I think they sense it. They're good kids. They're well-mannered kids. But it's got to have a long-term effect.
But there's another long-term effect King would love to protect his sons from. The devastation he felt as a boy when his father died. Since 1987, when King had a heart attack and bypass surgery, he has stopped smoking, works out every morning, and eats a healthy diet. Today, he says he's grateful for the joy in his personal life, and he loves work as much as ever. And that, he says, is never going to change.
Television is changing all the time. Do you worry about that?
Yeah, you worry. But as Arthur Godfrey would later tell me about this business, the only secret in this business, there's no secret. Just be yourself. It always works.